In the heart of America, beneath the tired sun of New Jersey, there came a night that smelled of reckoning at the MetLife Stadium. Two gangs answered the call. The Chelsea Blues, arriving from London with the stride of the righteous, and the outlaws of Paris Saint-Germain, armed with stars and hopes. They say that when the wind dies down and the sand falls silent, those with steady hearts write history. At 21:09, the referee's whistle shattered the silence, and so began the duel. Not even 5 minutes had passed, and the Blues had already reached for their holsters. Nito rode fast down the left flank, swinging the ball like a lasso. Palmerth, the gunslinger with a golden boot, took aim, but the shot just grazed the post, missing its mark by a breath. Paris? Dazed, off balance, as if it had lost its purpose, like a bandit who forgot why he stopped the train. The outlaws staggered, dust in their eyes, gazes lost in the grandstands. Chelsea? Bold, spreading fear across the gulch of MetLife with every pass, every glance, every silence. And the moon, high above New Jersey, began to write in blood the tale of a duel long foretold. At the 22nd minute, the first bullet hit the mark. Malo Gusto stormed down the right like a wild stallion hoofbeats echoing through the pitch. He cut inside, faked a shot, then laid it back. And there was Cole Palmer, cool as an Arizona night. With ice in his veins, he picked his corner, pulled the trigger bang. Precision, perfection. Donnarumma didn't dive, he didn't blink. He simply watched the ball kiss the net. Chelsea had drawn first blood, 1-0. The fans exploded, the stadium roared. The Blues were here to conquer. And Palmer? He was just getting started. 30 minutes gone on the clock. Paris, once again, caught napping. Palmer returned to the scene of the crime. A drop of the shoulder, a cut across the grain, and then pow, a crisp shot, curling sweetly toward the far post. 2-0. The crowd stirred. Whispers flew among the velvet seats of the grandstand. A voice is soft but sure said, "That boy doesn't just shoot, he paints. Every strike, a brushstroke, every goal, a masterpiece in motion." The PSG tried to respond. Doué galloped down the flank. Dembélé carved through the dust. Vitinha swung his boot like a gunslinger aiming at the horizon. But each attempt was met by the same fate. Sanchez, the Chilean keeper who, that night, wasn't just defending a goal. He was guarding a border. Stoic, immovable, sharp-eyed, like a desert sentinel. He parried shots, punches, even dreams. You'd swear he had 6 arms and a map of destiny in his gloves. The Parisians pressed harder, desperate to break through. But Sanchez didn't blink. He saved everything, even their thoughts. At the 43rd minute came the cruelest blow. João Pedro, with a touch so delicate, it felt like a goodbye kiss, even slipped past the last man. 3-0. The Parisians looked like shadows fading in the sun. A broken symphony. A team brought to its knees before halftime. No applause, just silence and disbelief. They returned to the pitch after the music. But the music was no longer theirs. Kvaratskhelia tried his luck from distance, a curling shot that sang of desperation. Then came Dembélé, sliding in, as if chasing echoes of past glory. But Sanchez stood like a wall, raising barricades with every touch, while Chelsea's defense seemed carved in ancient stone, solid, immovable, unbreakable. Every Paris attack, no matter how ambitious, collapsed before it could bloom. The fans watched, silent, holding breaths. On the field, a battle of wills played out, but the rhythm had shifted. The Blues no longer danced to Paris's tune. The melody now belonged to London. It was the 68th minute. Delap stepped in, boots still dusty from the bench. His very first touch fired from way out. Donnarumma, wounded but proud, rose like an injured eagle and parried the ball like a true guardian of goal. The crowd held its breath. The moment felt carved in stone. And yet, even as the roar settled, the scoreboard didn't flinch. The color of hope, pride and defiance still waved quietly in the wind. The flag remained forever blue. At the 84th minute, João Neves could no longer contain himself. Frustration took over. Not near the ball, not in the heat of play, but in a moment of blind fury, he reached out and pulled a handful of hair, a senseless act. The referee paused, turned toward the totem of justice. Time stood still. The screen spoke, and the verdict came in red. It rose like a flare in the sky. No glory, no regret. Neves was gone, just a shadow on the pitch and a memory already fading into the night. Like in every true Western tale, a brawl broke out before sundown. Luis Enrique and João Pedro Fach to face, eyes full of lead, words like bullets. But that evening, the wind whispered peace. And it was Donnarumma, the old sheriff, who took off his gloves to restore order. With a slow stride and steady voice, he calmed the flames in MetLife Gulch, where dust never settles by chance, and football is a duel between pride and men. And then, when the clock struck 90+5, referee whistle sounded like a cannon shot. The duel was over. The Blues paused for a moment. A breath, a glance toward the sky. Then they erupted, with a roar that made the dust tremble at the edges of the pitch. Hugs, fists to the sky, eyes filled with tears. It wasn't just a victory. It was a conquest, a charge. On the ground, the Parisians walked slowly, like wounded cowboys, leaving town at sunset, with empty hands and broken hearts. Chelsea, world champions. And the scoreboard inscription, Chelsea 3, PSG 0, looked as if it were carved in the red stone of the West. When the sun sets over the prairies of football, only those brave enough to fight to the very end enter the realm of legends. Chelsea, the Blues of the West.